There are nights when you wake up with a strange sensation. It's not fear. It's not joy. It's something deeper. As if you had returned from a place you don't fully remember, but whose imprint still beats within you. What if I told you that this sensation is not a coincidence? What if your soul had been in another world while you slept? We live believing that sleep is a shutdown of the body and mind, a simple rest to face the next day. We were taught that dreams are just fantasies, random images created by a bored brain in the dark. But what if all of that was a comfortable lie? Imagine for a moment that every night when you close your eyes, your soul gently detaches from your body. It doesn't disappear. The bond doesn't break. It remains connected by an invisible thread, a bridge of light known for centuries as the silver cord. And through that thread, you cross thresholds the physical world does not know, traveling through territories where the laws you thought were absolute cease to exist. Edgar Cayce, one of the most documented mediums in history, not only believed in this, he lived it. He taught it. He documented it with thousands of readings, and in all of them, he repeated an uncomfortable truth. While your body sleeps, your soul travels, and it does so every night, without exception. But the place you reach is not always the same. Cayce described 3 levels, 3 worlds that open only to those who are ready. The first is borderland, the spiritual limbo, an intermediate territory halfway between life and death. There, newly arrived souls orient themselves. There also wander consciousnesses clinging to the earthly world. And it is there where many of those dreams occur in which you embrace someone who has already passed, where you hear their voice so clearly that upon waking you wonder if it really was a dream. But borderland is only the antechamber. If your vibration allows it, if your soul frees itself from certain weights, you can cross to a second level, the Akashic Records. A living library that contains every thought, emotion, and action of all souls, from all time. Here, knowledge is not read, it is felt, it is lived. A single page can show you entire centuries of experience. Some return from there with answers that transform their lives, others with formulas, visions, or healings impossible to explain. And beyond, so subtle that few reach it, lies the third dimension, the realm of pure spirit. There are no words to describe it. There's no time, no form, no sound, only an infinite presence. Some call it God, others the source. It is there where the soul meets the eternal, where it receives revelations capable of changing its destiny, or that of all humanity. But there is a secret Cayce repeated again and again. Not everyone reaches these places, not because they are forbidden, but because they are unprepared. The state in which you enter sleep defines the place your soul will go. Anger, fear, material attachment are shackles that keep you in low, dark, dense planes. Gratitude, sincere intention to serve, and the desire to evolve are wings that lift you. That's why Cayce taught rituals before sleeping. They were not superstitions, they were keys. Meditation to quiet the mind. Dream incubation, an ancient technique in which you formulate a question to the higher self and allow it to be answered during the night. And above all, the white light shield. Visualizing your body wrapped in pure light, asking for protection from your guides, and closing your eyes knowing that nothing dark can reach you. Because not all presences in the spiritual plane are benevolent. There are entities that feed on confusion, fear, and the vital energy of those who wander without direction. Nightmares that seem endless, insomnia without apparent cause, feelings of emptiness upon waking. Many times, according to Cayce, are traces of having crossed into territories where you should not have been. Without preparation, the soul travels blind. With preparation, it becomes a conscious explorer, and then miracles begin. People who healed illnesses deemed incurable by medicine after receiving precise instructions in dreams. Mothers who found exact remedies to save their children after walking in dreams through infinite corridors full of light. Men and women who freed themselves from ancestral fears by reliving and rewriting traumas from other lives. Cayce called it nocturnal karmic adjustment, an opportunity to resolve, while you sleep, that which has pursued you for years or centuries. But it was not only about healing the past. The soul, in these states, can also glimpse the future. Cayce did so, and his visions were so precise that they still unsettle skeptics today. Wars, global changes, events that came true with exact accuracy. If the future can be seen, is it because it is written, or because we can rewrite it? Imagine going to sleep tonight with a clear question from the depths of your heart. Imagine waking up with such a precise answer that you feel that someone or something whispered it to you from a place beyond time. And what if that someone was your own higher self, finally free from the chains of the physical world? Every night is a door. You cross it whether you want to or not. The question is, where do you want it to take you? Perhaps, without knowing it, you have already been to Borderland. Perhaps you have touched a book in the Akashic Library. Or perhaps, in an instant so brief you cannot remember, you stood before the infinite presence that encompasses everything. Do not dismiss it. Do not call it fantasy. Because if Cayce was right, sleep is not the end of the day. It is the beginning of everything. And each time you close your eyes, you could be closer to discovering who you really are and what you came here to do. Tonight, when you lay your head on the pillow, remember, you are not falling asleep. You are preparing to travel. And if that nightly journey, which almost no one talks about, were not just a passive experience, what if you could direct it, shape it, and use it as a tool to completely transform your life? Most people enter sleep like someone walking in the dark down an unknown hallway without a map or flashlight. But Cayce insisted that, with proper preparation, you can become the navigator of your own astral journey. It is not about controlling every image or sensation. It is about entering sleep with an inner compass, an intention so clear that the very fabric of dream reality adjusts to answer you. This is where modern science begins to feel uncomfortable, because although they do not fully admit it, there are studies that have detected that during deep sleep, especially in the REM phase, the brain emits patterns very similar to states reached by monks in prolonged meditations. It is as if the mind, at that point, becomes an antenna capable of picking up signals from a frequency that normally goes unnoticed. Cayce said that this frequency is the vibration of the soul free from the chains of matter. But not everything is soft, comforting mysticism. There is a territory where the rules bend, where time can stretch or compress until it becomes unrecognizable. There, you can live years in what, for the physical body, were only minutes. Many call it the timeless plane. It is a place where you can meet with teachers, relive forgotten events, or even explore realities you have never experienced here. Some return from there with knowledge they did not have before, with artistic abilities, with languages they never studied. For Cayce, this is not magic, but access to fragments of your own consciousness that, in waking life, remain blocked. And there is something even more unsettling. The soul not only travels to other planes, it also interacts with other living souls. Have you ever dreamed of someone and the next day that person tells you they dreamed of you? This, according to Cayce, is a real encounter, a crossing of paths in the astral plane, and it is not always a coincidence. Some of these meetings are arranged before sleeping, from a level of consciousness we are barely aware of upon waking. But what if I told you these journeys could also shape your physical body? Cayce documented cases where, after receiving an intervention in the dream, whether by guides, spiritual doctors, or the higher self, the symptoms of chronic illnesses disappeared. The body, he said, obeys energetic patterns, and those patterns can be readjusted while the soul is free. However, not all adjustments are sweet. There are those who, in their travels, are forced to confront deep shadows, guilt, fears, and wounds they have carried for entire lifetimes. This process, which he called dream purification, can be intense, even terrifying. But after that confrontation, the person often wakes up with an inexplicable lightness, as if something invisible had been released from them. And here comes one of the most powerful mysteries: karma. For Cayce, many physical ailments, emotional blocks, and destructive patterns have their origin in past lives. During sleep, the soul can return to those points of origin, relive them, and rewrite them. A change in that plane resonates in all others, including the physical. It is like modifying the root of a tree. The entire structure transforms. However, there is a silent risk. If your soul carries too many attachments, resentment, selfishness, fear, it may get trapped in the lower levels of the astral plane. There, time feels heavy, forms are blurry, and presences can be hostile. These entities, which Cayce described as parasitic, feed on the emotional energy of those who enter without protection. That is why he insisted on the light shield before sleeping. It is not a spiritual ornament. It is a real defense against what should not come near you. He also spoke of something many researchers today call conscious unfolding. The ability to become fully aware within the dream and decide what to do. It is the moment you realize you are dreaming and choose where to go. From there, you can seek a teacher, ask for access to the Akashic Records, visit a specific place, or simply experience the freedom of flying through landscapes that do not exist in this world. But make no mistake, the experience will not always be as you imagine. The spiritual plane responds to your deepest vibration, not to your waking whims. If your heart is restless, you will go where that restlessness can be resolved. If your soul needs healing, you will be guided to the experience that allows it. That is why Cayce said that sleeping without intention is like embarking on a journey without a destination, trusting the sea to take you to a good port. Imagine for a moment that you decide to prepare your soul for tonight. You turn off the lights, breathe deeply, let the noise of the day dissolve. You think of one question, just one, but loaded with truth. You close your eyes knowing that on the other side you are not met by emptiness, but by a vast territory full of doors. Some will open easily, others only if you carry the right key, and those keys are not made of metal. They are states of being, gratitude, love, humility, a genuine desire to learn. Now ask yourself, what will you do with the night that is approaching? Will you let it be an unconscious lapse between one day and the next? Or will you use it as a tool to discover who you are beyond this body? Because if Edgar Cayce was right, every time you close your eyes, you could be about to receive the revelation that will change the course of your existence. And perhaps you have already received it once. Perhaps it is hidden in that dream you cannot forget, the one in which you met someone who seemed to know you forever, that place you recognized without ever having seen it before. Those moments that, upon waking, leave you with the feeling of having lived something more real than waking life itself. The next time you enter the realm of sleep, remember, it is not a rest, it is an appointment, and your soul, patiently, has been waiting for you there forever. And perhaps, the most unsettling thing of all is not what your soul sees out there, but what it discovers about itself. Because in those places where time does not exist, where forms dissolve, and matter is nothing more than an idea, the only thing left is your naked essence, without masks, without excuses, without the stories you use down here to define yourself. There, you cannot hide from yourself, and that, for many, is more terrifying than any dark entity. But it is also liberating, because in that moment, when you recognize yourself beyond the body and the name you have in this life, you begin to understand that you are not a spectator of your existence. You are its architect. That what you call reality today is nothing more than the shadow of a much vaster plane you can access every night. And that every decision, every thought, and every emotion you carry to that threshold shapes the journey you will take. Do not forget this. Awakening does not only happen in the morning. Sometimes it happens in the middle of the dream, and when that happens, you never see the world the same way again. The street, the people, the noise, everything seems more fragile, more illusory. And it is then that you begin to wonder if last night's dream was more real than the day you are living now. If you have made it this far, it is because a part of you, perhaps a very ancient one, knows that something is waiting on the other side. Perhaps you have been searching for it for entire lifetimes. Perhaps today you have received the signal you needed to begin. And I want you, tonight, before sleeping, to close your eyes and remember that you are not going to bed. You are going to meet yourself. Now I want to propose something. Write in the comments the phrase, "My soul travels consciously." It is not just a gesture for the algorithm. It is a declaration, a public reminder that you have decided to take the reins of your nightly journey. And as you do it, you will be joining hundreds of people who are also opening that door with you. If this message has resonated with you, subscribe. Not to not miss content, but because here we will continue exploring those places where few dare to look. Here, waking life and sleep touch. Here, questions are not hidden. And now, turn off the lights, breathe deeply, and listen. As soon as you close your eyes, you will feel the slight tug of the silver cord, that thread that unites you to the eternal. Do not ignore it. Follow it. Let yourself be carried. And if upon waking tomorrow you feel you have returned from a place that exists on no map, remember this voice, because I have already been there with you.